Hey guys, welcome again to another Sacred Writings video. My name is Jason Damiani, and today I'm going to be going over a beautiful Gregorian Chant fragment in my collection. So the manuscript fragment that I have in my collection here is far different from the manuscripts or leaves that I've shown in the past. Up to this point, most of the items that I have shown have been from a Bible, whereas this beautiful manuscript is from a Gregorian chant. It is a liturgical document that is very fitting for my collection, seeing as how it was used in church settings. This manuscript was produced in the first half of the 15th century, so anywhere between 1400 and 1450. That's the general time frame for this particular manuscript. But since this is not a Bible manuscript, it doesn't have a particular passage of scripture on it. However, this Gregorian chant was a very common book that would have been produced for the monks to sing in a liturgical setting. Specifically, the Catholics would have used this particular type of manuscript. But this Gregorian chant is more accurately known as an antiphonary. That comes from the word antiphon, which is a psalm, anthem, or verse sung responsively, meaning they're responding to something. These books were extremely large, and this particular leaf fragment is from a choir book that would have been set up for a group of people to all look at one time. So rather than each individual monk or person singing having their own antiphon or antiphonary to read from or sing from, they would have a very large book that's a manuscript form and would have been easily readable for everyone standing up reading or singing from this manuscript. And so the sizes of these manuscripts do vary from book to book. However, they would be anywhere from around 24 inches tall by 15 inches wide. So that's a really, really large manuscript. Every leaf that I've shown so far in my videos have not been 24 inches tall. Now again, this would have been cut from a manuscript around that size. This particular fragment itself or alone measures 10.5 inches tall by a little over 4 inches wide. So this more than likely was cut from the larger manuscript because of this beautiful artwork on there. The back you can see are other notes and words. This would have been produced in Latin. So they would read from that and they would know what notes to sing and what words to say, of course, very similar to music of today. But these oversized songbooks represent a particular class of Italian illuminated book production in the 13th to 16th centuries. Produced by a monastic scriptorium, they were intended to be used in daily services by priests or monks and reflect the unique rites and offices of the specific sect or order and further of that particular cathedral, church, or monastery. The book from which this leaf would have been taken from was most likely an antiphonal, one of several different kinds of liturgical books required to carry out services. An antiphonal contains the charts of the divine office, or in Latin, Officium Divinium, which in the Roman Catholic Church of the Middle Ages consisted of 9 services, or hours, offering prayer and worship each day of the week. So it is difficult to reconstruct the specific context of the antiphonon that was written on this particular leaf, so simply I don't know exactly what song would have been written on this fragment here, simply due to the fact that there's not much context on there to let us know. But their typical usage can be compared to those found in other antiphonal medieval manuscripts. So we can basically compare this with other ones that we do know the content of and see what it looks like based upon that. Now, as far as who wrote this particular manuscript, I don't know the exact person by name. However, we can assume safely that it would have been a monk or a scribe in a scriptorium, very similar to the medieval manuscripts that I've shown in other videos. So of course, I highly encourage and recommend you check those out. But this particular manuscript fragment was produced in Italy and is a beautiful example of a Gregorian chant. It contains this stunning and beautiful image or miniature of a monk. Now, as far as miniatures goes, this is the largest that I've had in my collection. This, of course, was done by hand. This was painted by hand. The amazing colors, the bright blue and the green from the monk's robe, just the details in the face and the hands. You have these stunning vines or flowers at the top and bottom of the miniature here. So just in a beautiful work of art, and something for being over 500 years old is quite beautiful to see how it has maintained its beauty throughout that time. The material used for this particular manuscript would be parchment. Parchment, of course, is animal skin. I talk about it in a lot of my videos, so I'm not going to elaborate on it much here. It's very thick. This is thicker than the Bible leaves that I've had before. Now, I bought this particular manuscript on eBay. I actually won it at auction, and I won it for an incredible, unbelievable price. I paid $650 for this fragment. I know that may seem like a lot, but for the artwork on here, it's just unbelievable that I got it for that price. Normally, a fragment like this would go anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 for just a cutting like this. So the fact that I got it as cheap as I did is unbelievable. Interestingly enough, I actually bought this manuscript solely for the fact to resell it. My goal was to try and win it at auction for a good price and then resell it to make some money off it to, of course, add more new items to my collection. But when I got it in the mail, I really fell in love with it. I thought it was beautiful. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but I really, really do. Sadly, however, I am selling this one. I have already worked with a buyer, so it's already sold. I wanted to make a video on it before I had passed it on. The only reason I'm selling it is because it was for the right price. The person reached out and offered a really good sum for it, so I'm happy to sell it for that. But of course, I'm sad to see it go in my collection. But the money that I get is just to add new items to my collection. So it's a beautiful manuscript, one that I really, really like, and I hope you guys enjoy as well. Of course, stick around for those close-up shots of this fragment at the end. You can see in a lot more detail, get all the colors and the beautiful artwork there. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.